Hello. So I'm going to do this video in two parts. So I'm going to do this one. This is about equipment and things that you need, so that you know what to set up with. So here's the all-important mother culture. She's been raised, fed and raised overnight, and I'll talk more about her. And this is the container that she lives in the fridge. All right, so I'm going to put, when I start making the bread, I'm going to put some of this, 250 grams, into here, but we'll talk about that later. You need a scale, and I've got a scale that it's not very expensive. You turn it on, but you can have grams and mils in it. So that's really important for when you're adding everything together. I have two bowls. They're the same. They don't weigh the same weight, but they're kind of the same, because when you divide the mother culture, so you put some into the container that she lives in to go into the fridge, and then the remaining you divide into two. So it kind of helps if you have two things that are kind of the same weight, because it's not an exact science. So, you know, if this weighs a few grams more than this one, so be it. And if you're adding 280 grams of mother culture and 270 grams to this one, yeah, doesn't really matter, but it just kind of helps even it up. I also have a piece of I forgot what it's called, I'll tell you in a minute. It's what you make headstones out of. Anyway, why do I have it? Because it's cold, like it stays cold, and it also provides you just a separate surface to make your bread on. So I don't know about you, but I do a whole lot of sort of stuff on my benchtop surface, and I don't want to be making bread on that. I've got a wet tea towel underneath it so that it doesn't slip when I'm kneading the bread. So as far as the bread flour goes, there's all sorts on the market. So there's this one, which is the same as this one, okay? They all come with little packets of yeast in them. You don't need that. You can throw that away or give that to someone else, all right? So they're white flour ones. They also come in the same bag, but as multi-grain ones. So they're the two single ones, and this is 5 kilos of the same in here. And I keep it in there because it's just easier to move in and out with the handle, and I've got a measuring cup and stuff in there. The other thing you need are things to put your bread in. So I just use 2 of these, all right? And I've got canola spray that I spray inside these to put the bread in, to put the dough in once it's in. And I have one of these, which is has flour in it, and it has a grated sort of top, and you'll see what I use that for later. So that's all the equipment, plus an oven. Whether you use white flour or multigrain flour or whatever is entirely up to you, but I use a bread flour, whatever that means. I don't know particularly what a bread flour means, whether it's got any special stuff in it, but I don't think it has. And remembering, if you use the sourdough mother culture, you don't need to use the yeast comes in the bags. Oh, I also have this. This is actually a wooden paper opener that I got in a wood shop in Tasmania, and I just use that to be able to scrape my hands off. I try and keep it as sort of organic as I can, even though the mother culture's been fermenting in a plastic bowl. And I use this kind of stuff. I do try and keep my my contact with it as sort of as natural as possible, and salt, because you're going to add salt to the bread. So that's all you really need. My bread making thing here, you don't have to have it, but I like it, and I wouldn't going to a stonemason or something and getting anything until you're actually committed to making bread, because they actually cost a lot, although this cost me a loaf of bread. It's an offcut. All right. Okay, so phase 1 complete. We'll make some bread in a minute.